Sharp. So no. Let's just have the courtesy of asking who's really on the scam. I did ask them. They are fine. Thank you for being flexible. Thank you. Any political parties can't wait for that to finish so we can get some cameras back. So should you say 15 minutes? I said something wrong. This morning So this is what is it?
says they are coming. But we said no. What am I going to say? Hmm? Say land up. I can go now. Okay. Good morning, colleagues. And Mr. President, I'm going to be very biased this morning. I'll start with my colleagues. Good morning, media colleagues. And thank you so much to everyone who took their time to join us for this important press briefing. My name is Mongezi Nsebezo. I am the communications manager for the ActionSA in the province. And like I said, this is such an important media briefing that we're going to do today. We have some important developments within the province, and therefore I won't waste any time. But then again, I'm going to call on upon the provincial secretary who's going to come and basically just to give us an idea of some of the things that we need to observe within the room and what is ahead of this media briefing. Thank you. I'm going to call on Miss Evelyn Mondlana to come and give us an idea of how the day would look like in this program as well. Thank you.
Good morning, fellow PEC members. Let me observe the protocol from our national office. Let me welcome all family members of the mayoral candidates, our ambassador that we are going to unveil today, and members of the media houses. We would like to welcome you today on this press conference. And the purpose of the conference, it is into two folds. Number one, it is to announce Miss Ayanda Allie as our 2026 election campaign ambassador for issue driving in Gauteng. Number two, it is to announce our mayoral candidates in the district corridors for the 2026 election campaign. I will then take you through the procedure of today, that is the program. Number one, we have President Herman Mashaba, who will speak. We have also Leader Ayanda Allie, who will then speak. We have the National Chairperson, Michael Beaumont. We have the Gauteng Provincial Chairperson, Mr. Funzi Ngobeni, who will also speak. We have the first mayoral candidate who will speak, coming from the Sedibeng District, Leader Dlamini. He will be followed by the West Rand, Leader Vuyisile Mcunana. The last mayoral candidate will be Leader Gibsy Diale from Mogale City. And as I sit down, I would like to welcome Mr. Herman Mashaba, ActionSA President, to join us on this podium to outline the purpose of unveiling Leader Ayanda Allie for this 2026 local government election. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the media, fellow leadership of our party from our national chairperson, Michael Beaumont, our provincial chair, and Tate Funzi Ngobeni, and our provincial secretary, Evelyn, our regional structures in Gauteng. Thank you very much for making the time to join us this morning on the eve of a very important day in our country's history. But tomorrow, as South Africans, you are aware, is the last registration ahead of the 4th of November local government elections. Very important because I think for us as ActionSA in South Africa, I think it looks like our party, in terms of its development, it's actually evolving as part of the development of our country. If you look at the development of our democratic process over the last 32 years, one election after the other, we've always been experiencing transformational change. New democratic dispensation, very complex one. But I think for some of us who are old enough to have lived during the dark days of our country's history, we welcome living under this democratic dispensation, unlike living under the oppressive apartheid regime. But that does not mean that we don't have challenges today. But the good thing about the challenges of today, we have an opportunity as South Africans to challenge them and challenge them within the laws of our country. One of the core values of our party, if you remember when we launched on the 29th of August, was the rule of law. So we really excited as South Africans that when we are facing a challenge, we challenge it head on, using our democratic processes to challenge that. So thank you very much, and I really hope our fellow South Africans, particularly the youth, must go out and exercise their vote, because it is the most important asset that a human being can be given in life. I wrote an article earlier this week titled Politics Matter, because our youth out there who are unemployed, 60%, we've got the highest unemployment rate in the world. However, if you go into our communities, our youth are not taking advantage of this great asset that they have that can help to reshape their future. So I urge you, the youth of our country, because most of you, majority of you, are not registered to vote. So please, take advantage tomorrow to register yourselves. Go to any IEC voting district in your particular area. If not, you can really use your own devices, self-register if you feel you don't have the time to go to IEC offices. So this is really very important to help save this country, because that's the only way we're going to save South Africa. We are not going to save and fix South Africa by burning tires, burning our schools and clinics, burning our roads, stopping the few unemployed people from going to work. Because sometimes it baffles me when I see community, when we have 43% unemployment, the highest in the world, 12 million South Africans unemployed. And when we have an issue with refuse collection, we go and burn tires in the street and stop our people from going to work. I can tell you right now in my community, I don't know the city of Johannesburg, how they expect us as the residents to pay for refuse collection. Right now, in my street, our dustbins have been laying there waiting for the last 3 weeks to be collected. Now, I'm not sure, now the next statement, are we expected to pay? And the mayor, when you ask him, when the mayor engages him, as far as he's concerned, delusional man, he believes the city has got no problem. Unbelievable. It's beyond imagination. So the only way we're going to solve this problem is by getting the youth out there to register to vote and cast their vote on the 4th of November. And if you think you don't have an option, you do have. Here's a political party, ActionSA, to vote for. This is the party that is going to really represent you. So you have absolutely no reason whatsoever that you've been voting, but you know you've not voted before. Here's an alternative. Visit our website, engage our structures. Here in the city of Johannesburg, all the wards are covered. We're ready for the 4th of November. In Tshwane, throughout Gauteng, in fact, including all the municipalities we are going to contest. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I think the reason why we're here today is to really unveil really one of the youth of my country. I still take Ayanda as a youth. Ayanda, please come forward. I've always watched this young, vibrant, hardworking, proud South African.
Thank you.
I've admired you from the distance for a long time. And as a journalist, a career one, did exceptionally well. And I watched you now in the legislature. Say alone, huh? Your party unfortunately only could only deliver you.
Former party.
Your former party. But I can tell you, when you say someone boxes beyond their weight, that's exactly what you did. So when the opportunity presented to us to join our party, I can tell you I was overwhelmed. When I shared the news with my colleagues, it was like, Herman, is it one of your jokes? I said, no, it is. It is real. Ayanda and I, a few weeks ago, had a lovely cup of coffee. And
broke the internet.
And we just give you guys an idea of what to expect. So today we are here to formally announce Ayanda Allie to be part of the ActionSA family. In our discussion with our party, in particular the Gauteng colleagues, because of her enormous experience in the Gauteng government and legislature, the Gauteng province decided to appoint her as the campaigns or ambassador for all the Gauteng municipalities campaigns. So she's going to be working with all the regions of Gauteng. So I'm actually excited and personally feel, obviously given the responsibility to work in all the municipalities in Gauteng. I'm going to need you more in Gauteng. I'm sure you're aware, Johannesburg. I'm sure you're aware I'm the mayoral candidate. I want to come back. I have unfinished business. I'm sure you know I've got unfinished business. So you've got to help me to get enough votes so that I can govern Johannesburg after the 4th of November. So that the people of Johannesburg can see what government can do, like what we're seeing happening in the city of Tshwane with Dr. Nasipi Moyo. We want to do it in Johannesburg. I will lead the change. Golani will lead the change in Ekurhuleni. Nasipi is asking the residents of Tshwane to give her another 5 years. So that's going to be your responsibility, and obviously that Ngubeni will be announcing our other mayoral candidates shortly. So thank you so very much. Members of the media, I don't have to really read you her career, her profile. I think that's something that probably you guys know better than I do. You can teach me. I've always admired her from the distance, so I'll give her the opportunity for you to use your knowledge of her to write about her. But I think let me give her an opportunity to give her remarks and as to why she's decided to choose this fastest growing organization in this country that is here to represent all South Africans. Because when we're in government, we don't just serve only those that voted for us. We serve all communities. And I'm so proud. As I was sitting down here, I see Nasipi and our coalition partners in Tshwane had another record-breaking revenue collection last month. Unbelievable. Remember, we took over Tshwane October 2024. The city, Michael had a press conference, give you financial indicators. That city, actually, we on record as ActionSA to say, if the city of Tshwane was a company and I was a director, I was going to call for its liquidation. That's how bad the finances of the city were. People of Amanskral, where I was born and raised. People of Garankuwa, where I started Black Like Me in 1985. People of Soshanguve, where I lived, built my first house. Never got services since 2016. Literally stopped. ANC used to provide, but scheduled services. And so from 2016, in those communities, literally services stopped. But Nasipi Moyo came. People of Amanskral today keep phoning me. People of Waterkloof keep calling me. They can see real change. So that's what we want to do in the entire Gauteng. So the floor is yours. So you've got a huge responsibility to deliver me in Johannesburg, to deliver Kolani in Kuruleni, to deliver Nasipi in Tshwane and the rest of the other municipalities. And I know you're going to do it. So we're not here to try. We don't operate on the basis of try. We work on the basis of doing it. So please, fellow colleagues, when we go out and work, don't say, I'm going to try. No, go and do it. And that's what we are going to do. Thank you very much. Let me give you the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Returning Mayor of the City of Johannesburg and President of ActionSA. I greet you and I thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. Growing up in Soweto, we used to play Mugusha. And when I am hearing, those who play Mugusha will understand that you had the different teams, but you had what was called an all-savior. The all-savior was not part of any team, but it would play for the benefit of all of them. I'm happy to be that support. I'm happy to be there for all the actioners who are here, who are diligent and hardworking, and who I have seen for myself are ready to do it. They are not trying. They are giving their best, and they're going to do it. I greet you, and I greet the entire national leadership. I greet Michael, who I've given gray hairs over the last couple of days and weeks in the build-up to today. I want to greet the team in Gauteng that I've worked very closely with in my previous tenure as well. And as I've said, I'm actioners amahle. Diyalibulisa nonke. Diyabulela kakhulu. I will not be long, but I think for those of us who have any connection to news or social media platforms would have seen that the last few weeks have been rather eventful, if I can put it mildly. I don't want to dwell on the past, colleagues, and I don't want to resuscitate the events preceding today. I don't want to mar this glorious occasion by regurgitating what has already been, I think, ventilated well enough on many, many different platforms. I do, however, want to place on record my thanks to the previous organization of which I was part for the experience that they had given me and also the opportunity to serve. I don't want that to be left unsaid, and I do not want to minimize their contribution. However, having said that, if I was in church, I was going to say, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is a new season. It is a new day. It is a new chapter. It matters not how I found myself in this room today. What matters is that I'm here in full force, completely, totally, and wholeheartedly sold out to the mission of ActionSA concerning not only South Africa, but also Gauteng. I consider it a tremendous privilege, President. It's an honor. It's something that I don't take lightly to be able to be with you in this room. I've watched you as a child. I've watched you as an adult, understanding the socio-economic pressures of this country and the importance that we all have to play a part in terms of making sure that this country works, but that we as adults also are able to put food on the table, clothes on our children's backs, and a roof over their head. So the role of the entrepreneur, the role of the caregiver is something that I have likened to what you have done for this nation, and you have taught many of us to do the same. So finding myself here today is something that is very surreal. I have to pinch myself to make sure that I'm not dreaming. I want to say thank you to you and thank you to Mrs. Mashaba for the confidence that you have placed in me. And I pray that you will never regret having put your trust in my abilities. I want to thank the entire team because it is a collective effort that has brought us to this place today. I want to thank you, actioners, for receiving me with warm hands. And I've already been told, Guti, le kwai kwai oikogile is izos disteba fagitegi na maleggings sisi. We hit the ground running. And I will gladly serve alongside you. I want to thank those who have prayed and called and wanted to find out if I was okay over the last few days. I also don't take that for granted. Many South Africans wanted to see where the next home is going to be. This is the last home, Bazalwan. We are here. Hashtag. I see in the war. I also just want to say, when asked about where to next, many people said, politics, we told you it was a very dirty game. Rather go to corporate or the private sector, or go into a government department and just continue life as it was. And I had to respond after a lot of thought and introspection. But we are not the faint-hearted. We cannot allow the country. You have to be thick-skinned. You have to be tough. And if we answer the call, as Ntate Mashaba also has answered, having left private sector to come and serve, you have to be committed. So we want to say #AsiYindawo. In closing, why ActionSA, as people have asked? I have four short but important reasons why in all of my deliberations and considerations I landed at this point in time. Firstly, I've always felt I was an extension of ActionSA at the legislature. If you would have seen the seating arrangement, you would know that it was Honorable Ngubeni first, and then it was Honorable Moody, and then it was Honorable More, and then it was myself. So if there was anyone that I'm skinnering with there, it would always be them. Emma, what do you think about So I've always felt myself to be part of the family and have never been treated otherwise. And I think something very important is I observed at close range their discipline, their work ethic, their commitment, and how they apply themselves. And I've always admired them. But I soon realized that it was not exclusive to the Gauteng team in terms of the legislature. Because during the work that we would do in Dobsonville at Bukobami Youth Center, I encountered Councillor Gabe, who would work closely with me, even though I was from a previous different political party, and would serve the community, would plant trees, we would clean up dump sites and all those things. And I saw that what I experienced in the legislature must be something that is spread across this organization, because Kabelo, who is not at the legislature, also lives and breathes those values. I then realized that this was a home for me. Number 3, I looked very closely at how this organization supports women in leadership. I looked at the likes of Darlene James, who I had the privilege of serving alongside while she was still in community work. I interviewed her for a television show and saw the love, the passion, the enthusiasm that she had, and how that was nurtured and funneled in the right direction, and how she's just now doing the most at the in Parliament. I looked at the likes of Dr. Nasip, and how you have really supported her and raised her and groomed her. And I knew that this was a place that was safe for me. I knew this was a place that I could call home. And lastly, the fourth and I think very important reason why I said action it is because this is a place where I felt seen. When I met with Honorable Ngubeni, he said to me, there are many, many places where we can deploy you and place you, Ayanda. We know that you are good at communicating. We could have put you there. We know that you are good at leadership. We could put you somewhere. But one thing that they knew is my passion for community and issue driving. So when he said, I think the sweet spot for you is to make sure that you support all the structures that are there in terms of issue driving, I knew that this was a place where I was seen. So I wish to thank all the leadership for having seen and heard and understood. And I pray that all the efforts that I can muster up humanly possible will be realized into glorious fruition when we walk into the various offices, including the City of Johannesburg mayoral office in the upcoming elections. I want to thank you, and I want to pledge that I will do my all to make sure that I continue the good work that the actioners have begun. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, colleagues. So I don't know whether my job is safe anymore in the province now that there's also a former colleague of mine from the media space, but thank you so much for that. So just to keep it short, we're now going to move to the next speaker, of which the next speaker will be our national chairperson, just to share his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mongezi, and greetings to party leaders present here today. Members of the media, thank you for being here to cover this message. And to South Africans who are viewing these proceedings online, you are all welcome. Thank you very much indeed. Let me echo the welcome of Ayanda and firstly just engage with some banter with her. You have given me some grey hairs, but as I say, as the chairperson of the party, I always appreciate people in a ratio of how much value they bring to how many grey hairs they give me. And I think yours is a positive ratio, and keep it that way. and then I'll never mind the grey hairs at all. Let me also just say that the metaphor of Ayanda's joining us today is a very important metaphor, because she comes to us from another political party, like all other South Africans do. Everyone comes from somewhere. And she comes to us today on the eve of a registration weekend to say, this is the future for me, this is the future for my children, this is the future for the country. And that's a message that we share with South Africans today ahead of this voter registration weekend. Say, come out and register. You've got to register if you're going to matter in South Africa, if your voice is going to be heard. And we must kill this idea that exists in our communities that you can punish bad politicians by not voting. You can't. Bad politicians love it when good people stop voting. And that's why we need South Africans to come out in numbers over the next few days and do exactly what Ayanda has done today. And Ayanda may be more of a nice person than I am, so she didn't delve into it. But let me also just take the opportunity to say, I'm sorry for what you've had to go through to find your way here. You've handled it with class and dignity today, and I think that says a lot about your character, and maybe it says a little bit about mine for what I'm going to delve into now. But I think the way in which people are treated is often reflection on how voters will be treated by a political party. And I think many people have looked at your story and said, that's not how we would like to get treated. And I can assure you that's not the way we operate here. So you are most welcome, and everyone you bring along with you. Let me talk about... I'm going to talk a bit about the national campaign, and let me just start by saying that the state of our party has never been stronger than it is right now. And it's a wonderful thing when you can stand up publicly and say that every single time, and it's true, every single time, because a lot of political parties are getting smaller. And it must be a challenge to be in one of those. It's good to be in a party that's getting bigger. And I wanted to give you one simple fact that tells you statistically how relevant our growth is in the last week, ActionSA's total membership for the first time exceeded the amount of votes we got on the national ballot in the 2024 election. Now, I want you to think about that. That's membership. Your votes are many times more the amount of membership you have. The membership are the people who mobilize your votes. So I think from that standpoint, this says a lot about the work that we've undertaken as a party to rebuild and regroup after a disappointing 2024 elections. And we've gone about that work fastidiously, in a disciplined manner, without a lot of showboating. You don't see ActionSA people swimming in potholes and being towed around in rubber boats. We just go out there and do the work, because that's what South Africans want. They want their action. They don't want publicity stunts. And that's what they're getting from us. And our campaign has been positive and solution orientated. We've been on the ground sharing the message of what we are going to do to fix broken municipalities in South Africa. And let's pause a moment to understand an important fact about ActionSA. Is we have emerged as the most credible new player in the political space. The biggest small party, if you will. The smallest big party, if you will. And that makes us a very credible alternative to many South Africans who are looking at political parties that have been around 30, 40, 50 years and still haven't fixed their country. To say, you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. If we keep voting the way we've always voted, we're going to keep suffering the way we've always suffered. And that's the nature of the campaign that we are sharing, and clearly the kind of message to which people like Ayanda and people like her are taking up on a daily basis. And we're also the only new political party that can lay claim to leading a metro in South Africa, the capital city of our country. And if you want to talk about solution-orientated positive campaigning in the only language that matters to South Africans, because South Africans don't care about the billboards. They don't care about the stadiums. They care about their broken municipalities. And there you have a mayor who inherited a city that was bankrupt, where the previous government in 4 years took Eskom debt from 0 rand to 7 billion rand, bankrupting that municipality, bankrupting it. And that has now been turned around. The finances of that city are stabilizing, service delivery is improving. In every single way, ActionSA can point to that and put a green flag in the ground and say, Tshwane is better today than when we inherited it, and that is the offer we make to the South African people. In terms of this campaign, we've also made the decision to contest 62 municipalities in total across all 9 provinces of our country. It was important for us to select places where we feel change is ready, because the history of our country and the geography of our country is complicated. There's a lot of places that are going to take time for political breakthroughs to take place. But certainly what we are seeing is that many of those breakthroughs are going to take place for us in this next election. To give you a sense of how many places we're talking about, there are 4,468 wards in our country, and we will be contesting 2,040 of them. So a very significant percentage. And to those residents who may find themselves residing in municipalities that we are not yet contesting, and please note the word not yet. It's not because we don't love you and we don't care deeply about your community, but in order for us to succeed, we need to grow. And grow means we need to differentiate where we begin and where we move to next, and we will be coming for you in the next elections, most certainly. And while there has been a strong focus on metros for obvious reasons, there is also a lot of success stories that are emerging in our party, and some of these success stories are happening in places you've never heard of. But I promise you now you're going to hear about them after these elections. If you look at a place like Greater Tzaneen in Limpopo, where ActionSA now has a branch in every single ward of that municipality, a leadership that is growing rapidly, and an ANC that is terrified of what ActionSA is doing in Tzaneen. Watch Tzaneen after these elections. If you want to see another place that's going to be fascinating, watch how the Blue Party is going to run in the Karoo. Central Karoo. ActionSA has branches in every single ward of those municipalities. And the most credible leadership in those regions that is busy winning people over in a place that has been let down by literally every single political party in our country. You'll remember that was Dubai West, as promised by Gayton McKenzie. And it's now going to be changing to ActionSA Green, I can assure you that. And you take a place like Greater Taung in the Northwest, where we've announced a mayoral candidate this week. Over 200 members in every single ward of that municipality, in a place where 200 members represents a very large percentage of the people who live in each ward. And I can tell you right now, the idea that ActionSA is an urban party or a Gauteng party is no longer going to be the case. There are very significant breakthroughs being made outside of Gauteng and outside of the metros. And I say that with the full importance of why we are here today, at least partly why we're here today, to talk about the districts of the West Rand and Empoleni. We have announced mayoral candidates so far in Johannesburg, Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, Cape Town, Greater Tzaneen, Greater Giyani, Greater Letaba, Makhado, Polokwane, Molimole, Collins Chabane, Makudu Tamaka, Rustenburg, Mafikeng, Greater Taung, Ramochira Moliwa, and Kangala District, Mopani District, and Capricorn District. And in the next week, announcements are planned throughout Mpumalanga, Beaufort West, Langsburg, Prince Albert, eThekwini, KwaDukuza, Newcastle, and KwaNongoma. This is a very busy political party, but one that has understood the call of South Africans for leadership. Because yes, the campaigns of a party are important. But as every South African knows, when you have the right leader in a municipality, service delivery will follow, just like we have in the city of Tshwane. And that is why we are putting a focus on mayoral candidates who can prove their ability to turn around the broken municipalities, because that's the job that South Africans are hiring for right now. They're not looking for good time and fair weather politicians. They're looking for people who can fix broken places, because that's what they're dealing with. Our Green Umbrella project, led by our Deputy President, who couldn't be here today, has been delivering 61 new councillors over the course of the last year, from political parties that have made the same decision that Ayanda made today, to say that we can see where the movement is going. We want to be part of ActionSA. And I want to remind you, there are many political parties that spend millions and millions of rands trying to bribe voters to win 61 new councillors. And ActionSA has done that without any bribes having to be issued, by just convincing those public representatives where the future of their country and their communities lie. And there's been a strong focus on ground activities. I meant what I said earlier. We're not a party of gimmicks. We're not a party of swimming in rubber wetsuits and TikTok videos to try and replicate, hysteria. South Africans don't need to be told that their streets have big holes in them. They know they've got big holes in them. They're driving into them on a daily basis. They need a party that's going to work the ground, win the votes, be able to go into coalition and fix them. And ultimately, that is the campaign that's going to deliver. We are quite confident of that fact. Our candidate selection outcomes are a notable part of our election campaign. We began this process in March this year, knowing fair well that the ability to put down quality candidates is how you win elections in a local government standpoint, especially when people are fed up of the ward candidates given to them by the parties that seem to always win the wards, whether it's the yellow party or the blue party. Those parties give residents whoever they want because they believe that they will just vote for their party no matter what. And they've misread the room, because South Africans are completely gutful of that kind of thinking. So we've gone out and we found candidates who are the community members. We didn't just go and look at our own membership base. We went to our branches, and our branches elected chairpersons. And we went to communities, and we went to churches, and we went to CPFs, and we went to the places that have been housing the concerns of their residents for the longest time. We said, who is the right person to lead in this ward? And they gave us the candidates. And those are the people who are going to be emerging from our process. And while I stand here today to tell you that there are 2,040 wards that we will be contesting across the country, as of right now, 1,400 of those candidates have been captured onto the IEC's nomination system. And very soon we will publish those lists ourselves to the South African people ahead of the deadline to invite them to comment upon our lists. So if there's any way that we've made a mistake, which is possible, we're human beings that make mistakes like everyone else, we will get that information and we will fix that problem so we have the right candidates in place for your communities. Our coalition philosophy is an important touch point for us because, as you know, after the 2024 elections, a lot changed for ActionSA. We used to be a political party that tied ourselves at the hips to one particular grouping of political parties, and we realized the important lesson in the city of Tshwane, that you can't attach yourself to failed parties just because you're attached to those parties. And for that reason, we've adopted a philosophy that will be open to coalition configurations across our country based on the quality of leadership that is put on the ground by those parties and based on their ability to meet our expectations of service delivery for everyone, a zero tolerance for corruption, and the ability to address the crisis of illegal immigration in our country. Political parties that respond to that will find us available as coalition partners. Political parties that don't will find we are unavailable. Our national manifesto is being finalized as we speak and will be launched with great public fanfare so that we can base this campaign upon the solutions that our party has identified over the course of its time and track record. It is not a joke when in a political party you can have the only mayor who's ever turned around the city of Johannesburg and the current mayor of the capital city of the city of Tshwane and the only mayor who ever fixed Nelson Mandela Bay. And a lot of people now who've got a governance track record to contribute to this discussion of how we fix broken municipalities and address those problems. So the ActionSA manifesto promises a pedigree of fixing broken service delivery that many municipalities simply can't, many parties can't contest with. And I think it'd be a mistake if I didn't mention this week the importance of ActionSA in Parliament. I know this is a local government elections, but South Africans want their change and they don't care from where that change comes. And if you look at what those members of Parliament and ActionSA have done with their 6 seats, I think the people who voted for ActionSA in this last election got a very, very good deal. And I think the message is out there to say, vote for ActionSA and you will get a good deal as well. We were able to convince political parties in the impeachment committee that we must appeal the judgment of the Western Cape High Court, that the president should have his impeachment committee proceedings interdicted. And ActionSA's role in that was particularly important. We have announced legislation this week alone to end the era of state capture through lobbying companies that we have seen across our country and actually produce the legislative solution to address that problem. And ActionSA continues to be the point of the spear for the South African people in a parliament that is either GNU and has nothing to say about the lack of change in our country, or a lost opposition. And we play a vital role between those two causes. And I think as we get ready to hand over to my colleague, the provincial chairperson of Gauteng, Vuyisile Mcunana, let's turn our attention to the ground upon which we stand right now, and that is Gauteng, where ActionSA's campaign for Johannesburg through Herman Mashaba, Tshwane through Dr. Nasipi Moya, and Ekurhuleni through Xolani Khumalo is mounting the most serious campaign of any political party in this province. But it's important to note that while those campaigns are going to see ActionSA-led municipalities after this election, there are important districts of Mfuleni, Sedibeng, and the West Rand that we're here to talk about today, which in many ways have been forgotten because the media attention has never really shines far enough to get there. As a matter of fact, if we had held this announcement today in the West Rand or Sedibeng, I doubt we'd have all these microphones you see in front of me right now. But we're here to share the message of those residents and the solutions that they need going forward. And from my side, really all that is left to do is to say thank you very much to the scores and scores of ActionSA volunteers and members across our country. You know, it's very good as leaders to get together and have these moments with cameras and microphones, but leaders who don't have followers are not leaders. And ActionSA is blessed to have members and activists across our country who, as we speak, are preparing to ensure they're at every voting station and getting people across the line to be registered to vote. And without them, this party wouldn't be what it is today. So from my side, thank you to all those special people for the contributions you make to our care. Thank you.
Thank you very much, National Chair. Thank you, President, and thank you to our Provincial Secretary. And good morning to members of the media. Good morning to leaders of ActionSA here in this province who are here with us this morning. Mine is going to be very quick, and because the task that I've been given is to announce the mayoral candidates for the districts that will be contesting in this election, in this province. But before I say that, let me welcome Ayanda to ActionSA Gauteng. We are very happy to have you. Indeed, Ayanda will tell you that every time when we sit there in the legislature, President, she will always show me messages that are being sent to her DMs. And ActionSA members asking her to join ActionSA and say, yeah, we are hearing you. We can see the work that you are doing, but you are in the wrong platform. Come this side. So we are very happy to have you, and we're looking forward to you working with us, with our regional leaders who are here, with our ward candidates who are here. You will be working with our mayoral candidates. I know Mr. Mashaba wants you to spend more time in Johannesburg, but we'll want you to help us drive issues in all the regions of Gauteng. And you are joining us 14 weeks before elections, so you know there's no time. We want to hit the ground running with you in terms of driving those issues. As I said, colleagues, my task is to really introduce to you the mayoral candidates for the district municipalities that we are going to be contesting. These candidates, I must emphasize that they have gone through our selection process and have earned the confidence of the organization, not only of the province, but also of the Senate, who then ratified their appointment as candidates. But more importantly, these candidates I'm going to announce, they are rooted in their communities. They've got leadership experience and have genuine commitment for saving the people of Gauteng. So without any further ado, allow me to introduce them to you. For Sedibeng District, our mayoral candidate will be Reverend Caleb Bongani Dlamini. Once I've read all of them, I'll ask them to come forward and sit here with us, and then they can be able to deliver their few remarks. Reverend Dlamini is from Mfuleni. He brings decades of community leadership and civic involvement, including leadership roles in community organization. And he's also the leader of ActionSA in the region of Mfuleni. He's also the chairperson of NAFCOC in Sedibeng. And he will come forward and tell you a little bit about himself and also what is it that he wants to achieve in the district of Sedibeng. For the Western District, I'm very happy to announce our mayoral candidate, who is Vuyisile Mcunana. Mr. Mcunana combines experience in public service, local government, and community development. He once served as a councillor in Mirafo and worked for many years in the Department of Correctional Services. And lastly, colleagues, from Mogale City Local Municipality, I'm very happy and honored to announce our mayoral candidate as Miss Gibsy Diale from Mogale City. Miss Diale has an extensive background in public management, small business development, and community leadership, supported by significant academic and professional experience in governance and also in local government. Together with our mayoral candidates in Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Ekurhuleni, they complete a very strong leadership team that will lead ActionSA campaign across Gauteng. And to each of you colleagues, as you come forward, I want to congratulate you and wish you well in your campaign to becoming mayors of Sedibeng. Welcome. Let's take the seats.
Can we do a little photo opportunity up at the front with all of them?
Yes, sure. Next to the. Let's do it here.
Over here. All right. You guys come through, please.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make it work.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to call them to come and just do a few remarks. Then we can be able to hand back to Mongezi to facilitate the questions and answers. I'll firstly ask Bongani, before you sit down, to come forward. And then after Bongani, we'll ask Leader Mcunana to come forward. And then after Leader Mcunana, we'll ask Leader Diale, Gibsy, to also deliver her remarks. So with in that order, let me ask Bongani.
Thank you very much, Program Director. My President, Herman Mashaba, Mogale, the National Chairperson, Michael Bowman, members of the Senate with us, provincial and regional leadership, our campaign ambassador, Mama Ayanda, members of media with us here, my fellow ActionSA members. Good morning to all of you. I stand before you today with deeply humbled and profound honor to accept the nomination as the mayoral candidate of Sedibeng. I would like to extend my sincerely. I like that one. Chama boy. Thank you. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Senate for entrusting me with such an important responsibility. I accept the nomination with humility, gratitude, and a deep sense of duty to our movement, our members, and people we seek to serve. I also want to acknowledge my fellow nominees, your commitment to public service and the value of ActionSA strengthens our organization, and I thank you for your dedication and willingness to serve. Thank you. To my family, thank you very much for your love, support, and sacrifice. Your encouragement gives me the strength to answer the call to serve. Today, it is not about one individual. It is about the future of our community. It is about the families who deserve safe neighborhoods. It is about the entrepreneurs who need an environment where business can grow, create jobs, and stimulate the economic growth. It is about the residents who expect honest, accountable, and capable local government. Not what we see today at Mfuleni. Not what we see today at Midval, when the people of Midval are suffering like this, Mongameli. If you can go there, there are no toilets. They use pits, our people, the majority of our people. It's a shame. Shame on the Democratic Alliance government, Midval. But time has come. If people of Sedibeng entrust me with their vote, I will lead with integrity, transparency, and accountability. I will work every day to earn their trust through service and results. My campaign will be focused on 3 priorities. Okokuqala, safe communities and reliable service delivery for all. Can I repeat this again? Safe communities and reliable service delivery for all. Clean neighborhoods, functioning infrastructure, and municipality that responds to the needs of its residents. Okwesibini, economic growth and job creation. We will support the local businesses, attract investment, and create opportunities to benefit every community. Let me repeat this sentence again. We will support local businesses, Mongameli. One way of supporting our local businesses is to say people who do not belong here, who don't have a right to be here, to make business here, they must go. That is the core principle of assisting our people so that they can have business opportunities which are occupied by people who do not belong here. I'm going to start to Mongameli. Ethical and accountable leadership. We will build a municipality that put people first. Abantu phambili. Manages the public resources responsibly and restore confidence in the local government. Restore confidence in the local government, which is broken today. People are no longer impressed in the manner that our local government is doing things, because it seems as if it is full of thugs, people who are just looking for the public purse. So we need to restore that dignity and that image to our people. I fully commit myself to execute my responsibilities to the highest standard, ensuring that ActionSA emerges victorious in the forthcoming local government elections in November. I look forward in receiving guidance from leadership and serving in a manner that reflects positively in our organization and the value we represent. To every member, volunteer, and supporter, I ask for your partnership. Let us work towards campaigning together and take our message to every ward, street, and household. Together we'll earn the trust of our communities and build a municipality that delivers for all. Mongameli, I am confident that this campaign is in capable hands. Together we will write the new chapter for Sedibeng. Can we please take this last opportunity, the last registration, and go to our voting stations and make sure that all of us were registered to vote, so that we can remove urhulumente wezigebengu. Let us all make sure that our guns are loaded for the 4th of November. Bethanda bengathandi Mongameli, Sedibeng will be in good shape when ActionSA is there. No government shall exist in Sedibeng without ActionSA. Asindawo. Ndiyabulela Mongameli. Ndiyabulela zinkokheli zami ngokuthi nithathe elithuba lokuthi nithume mna namajoni endihamba nawo. Ndithi uma ufuni volunteer Herman Mashaba Ulama Gudi.
Mr. President, President Herman Mashaba, National Chair Michael Beaumont, Provincial Leadership CC Evelyn Mondlane, our PC Ntate Funzi Ngobeni, Dumela Mayor Ayanda Allie. Fellow residents and distinguished guests, ActionSA members, ladies and gentlemen, Dumela. Firstly, I would like to thank ActionSA leadership for trusting me enough to be standing here as the Rand West District Mayoral Candidate for the upcoming local government elections. and the people of the West Rand that I will serve with truthfulness and honor them. I am a man who committed to fighting for the dignity of our people. I want our young people to grow up in a safe, drug-free communities where they can realize their full potential. Too many people have lost hope because of the failures of the current government. But I believe that together we can restore that hope. I fully understand the responsibility that has been entrusted to me, and I accept it with humility and determination. I will work tirelessly to ensure that the concerns affecting the residents of the West Rand are addressed. I will be the voice for our community and advocate for solutions to the challenges of unemployment, poor service delivery, and the broader development issues facing our district. I'm passionate about empowering our young people. I want to increase participation, sport, recreation, and community organization, not only at a competitive level, but also as a practical way of reducing crime, drug abuse, and alcohol abuse. Education remains one of the most powerful tools for breaking the cycle of poverty. Throughout initiatives such as Back to School campaign, I will encourage learners who have dropped out to return to school and provide them with the support they need to succeed. I will continue to fight for the dignity of our people by prioritizing the repair and maintenance of municipal infrastructure, aging water pipes, frequent bursts, water losses, and electricity. We cannot allow this to continue. I will also promote agricultural projects that stimulate the local economy by supporting cooperatives and local producers to grow and sell fresh produce. West Rand must become a destination of investment by attracting businesses and supporting local entrepreneurs. We can create sustainable jobs and grow our local economy. Our young people must play a leading role in reclaiming economic opportunities. I will ensure that the rule of law, including the enforcement of municipal bylaws, creates an environment where business can thrive and communities can prosper. Another key priority will be the rehabilitation of abandoned municipal infrastructure and neglected capital projects. Too many abandoned buildings and illegal dumping sites have become havens for criminal activities and drug abuse. These spaces should instead be transformed into multi-purpose community centers, safe houses for survivors of gender-based violence, skills development centers for women and young people, and sports facilities that provide positive opportunities for our youth. Corruption and poor governance have undermined service delivery and eroded public trust. We must restore ethical leadership, accountability, and responsible management of public resources. We must also ensure that the rule of law is applied fairly and consistently, addressing illegal activities while protecting the interest and safety of all lawful residents. In closing, I call on every eligible voter to register and participate in the upcoming local government elections. Your vote is your voice, and together we can build a municipality that is clean, safe, accountable, and responsive to the needs of its people. Together, we will restore dignity, improve service delivery, create opportunities, and build a better future for every resident of the West Rand. I thank you very much. Kopoka, ActionSA, Kopoka. Kopoka, West Rand, Kopoka.
Sure. I'm finally here. Ntate Mashaba, may God bless you and enlarge your territory. Thank you for doing this for the country. May I greet you. May I greet my national chairperson, Ntate Funzi. May I greet Sesuamina, the engine of Gauteng. May Evelyn, Ntate Mike Dumela. He is our national chairperson.
I'm relieved to get
Members of ActionSA, provincial leadership, fellow candidates, distinguished guests, members of the media, and importantly, the resilient people of Mogale City. Abusheni, Sanibonani, Dimelang, Khuyamore, Thobela ke yona. My name is Gibsy Diale. Today I stand before you not merely as a mayoral candidate, but as a servant of the people and community builder of Mogale City who understands both its struggles and its immense potential. The mandate of local government is simple. It is to provide quality basic services, create an enabling environment for economic growth, protect the dignity of every resident, and ensure that every community is safe, clean, and prosperous. Unfortunately, many municipalities have lost the sight of this constitutional responsibility. Today, ActionSA and myself, we commit to restore excellence in local government. As a mayor, I will focus on the following. Youth development. This is very close to my heart. Those who know me, you might be saying, where have I seen this face? I've worked for UJ, University of Johannesburg, doing exactly this, youth development. The second one will be ethical leadership. The third one will be building safe communities. The fourth one will be housing and human dignity. The fifth one will be local economic growth. The sixth one will be reliable basic services. The last one will be roads and infrastructure. Let me elaborate on the youth development. Restoration of Chamdor Training Center as a fully functional skill development hub, providing young people with practical, industrial, relevant, and employable skills will be something I will focus on as I go. Mogale City must not allow the decline of Bob van Reenen Stadium to close the door on future sporting excellence. The municipality has produced outstanding athletes such as Banyana player Vuyisile Mcunana, Olympic champion Tejana Smith, South African under-21 hockey international Tebogo Maseko, and former Springbok Jack Fourie. These achievements prove that local talent exists. But without safe, functional sporting facilities, future generations will lose the opportunity to follow in their footsteps. I will elaborate on ethical leadership. Leadership is not about positions. It's about accountability. As a mayor, I will institutionalize a municipality founded on ethical leadership, professionalism, transparency, and consequences management. We will also build safe communities. Safe communities create thriving communities. Safe communities, we will strengthen the partnership with law enforcement, support vulnerable families, and ensure public spaces are well lit, maintained, and free from crime spots. Safety is a human right. We will also look into housing and human dignity. We will ensure that housing allocations are transparent and fair, and work with farmers to improve conditions for farm workers, ensuring they live with dignity and respect. We will also focus on local economic growth. I have a very intense experience with this. I have worked at University of Johannesburg in the small business department with Ntate Mazwai. So with the experience that I have, We will make sure employment grows and it doesn't shrink. Mogale City is rich in opportunity. With its farms, mines, manufacturing industries, tourism sector, and most importantly, its hardworking people, we shall make sure that we increase the economy of our region. ActionSA will forge strong public-private partnership. We will also encourage skills transfer by incentivizing businesses to train and mentor and develop local residents for long-term employment opportunities. We will also champion local business for local people. So you know we are big with spaza shops are for locals. We will simplify and accelerate business compliance processes because people end up doing wrong things because we have red tapes in our system. We will also make sure that our services are reliable. Basic services are not luxuries, they are constitutional rights. ActionSA will prioritize reliable water supply. We will make sure that there is faster response to service delivery failures. We will make sure that there is investment in modern municipal systems. Roads and infrastructure. There is a street in Chamdo, it's called Fransen. If you drive on that street and you're driving straight, we know you are actually coming from SAB Brewery. That's where it leads. Because you're not supposed to be driving straight. You must be zigzagging to get to the other side. So with ActionSA, we will prioritize infrastructure maintenance because functioning roads create functioning economy. No municipal building should stand idle while residents have pressed needs. There is an ECD building in Ward 14 that is standing since it was built. It's never used, but we know that kids are full in the streets. My commitment, batho ba Mogale City, you deserve to be listened to. You deserve a municipality that will plan, delivers, and account. A municipality where opportunities are shared fairly without regards to nepotism. A municipality where government serves the people, not itself. Together we will restore the dignity. Together we will restore service delivery. Together we will restore ethical leadership. Together we will restore hope. In closing, youth of Mogale City, your future stands with your vote. Register with IEC this weekend and take the first step towards changing the story of your life in the next elections. Your vote matters. Register. Vote. Change the future. To South Africans at large, on the 4th of November, choose ActionSA, the green umbrellas, you know them. Choose accountable leadership. Choose competent governance. Choose a municipality that works for everyone. May God bless South Africa. May God bless Mogale City. May God bless ActionSA. Amandla.
Thank you so much, colleagues. And also congratulations to our newly elected mayoral candidates. And we're also hoping for the best for the 4th of November. And I'm also pleading with those who are watching us from home to make sure that they cast their vote on the 4th of November, and also they register this coming weekend, which is tomorrow, as well as Sunday. And we now have concluded our press briefing. But before we conclude, I will then invite those who have questions. If perhaps you do have a question, you can just give us your full names and also the media organization that you are representing, and I'll definitely make sure that your question is being addressed to the relevant authorities. Okay. Yes.
Okay, I feel like my part is okay. Yes, my first question is to Ms. Ayanda, and congratulations. One would say that the decision is very quick because the announcement of the termination of your previous party was last week. Perhaps you can just tell us when did you make the decision and the engagement? How did it come about? And then I'm not sure who should answer this still. What does their position entail? Like, what would she be doing as the investor for the elections campaign? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I thank you so much for the question from the SABC. I'll then call on the PC to come and perhaps answer the second question, and then the first one I'll leave it to you, Ayanda. PC. Okay.
Thank you so much. You're quite right. It does look like a rushed decision if you're only looking at the surface. But if you have hindsight and the ability to sort of see behind the scenes, you would know that it is an incremental decision that was made. It was not a big bang, one day you make a decision, but there have been a series of meetings. I want to say it was last year, President, when we met because of the German embassy event. That's when we interfaced, and that's when we met in person. But the team in Gauteng, as I have alluded to, is a team that I worked very closely with at the legislature and different committees. So there's always been a certain level of collegiality between myself and the ActionSA caucus in Gauteng, and then I got to meet the leadership, and we have common friends as well. And, you know, like I said to the Honorable Funzi, that many of the people would just DM me and just say, but, you know, come and join this particular organization. So mulling over it, and of course, time goes on and things change in your own political home. And as that climate then forces one to think about, you know, what next, that's when, you know, we had the famous tea and coffee meeting that we had. And it was exactly that, just touching base, wanting to know where my headspace was at, what my passion would be, the vision of the party, the organization, what it is that it hopes to achieve. And I think because of that, over time, one then makes that decision to say, I think this would be a good fit. There were conversations with a couple of other organizations, but one didn't quite feel as at home as one feels now in ActionSA. So it was not a wake up in the morning knee-jerk reaction, oh my gosh, I've been expelled, where to now, let's rush. It has been time in the making, and I would say about a year and a half after I'd met with the president, after I had associated with the various members of the legislature, that one thought this actually makes sense. So this is how I arrived at this decision, and I think my colleague will then share exactly what it entails, and I think you'll also agree with, okay, this is very her. And then I think you'll share in my joy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for the question. Maybe before I tell you what the position actually entail, the position, it's not an organizational position. It's not in any of our structures per se. As I indicated, we've got 14 weeks to go. And our intention, discussing with the president and Ayanda and everyone, we had no intention of disrupting what is already in place and moving people around and so forth. But it was important for us to capitalize on the strength of Ayanda. And we looked around together with her on where can she add value, you know, in the campaign, because as I indicated, we've got 14 weeks to go. And we need her to be a force multiplier, to be an additional voice. So she will in essence focus on issue advocacy, issue driving. She will champion campaign issues that will be identified by the provincial campaign team. She will represent ActionSA at issue-based community engagement. You will see her forming part of the engagement that will happen with mayoral candidates. You will see her forming part of engagement on issues with regional chairpersons, regional secretaries. You will see her working with ward candidates who are driving issues in their communities. And she will also identify issues that she has been driving. As you all know, that Ayanda has been driving quite a number of issues in the legislature. We want her to take up on those issues now, wearing the ActionSA hat and working with our structures to continue driving those issues. So you'll see her in community meetings. You'll see her communicating policies of ActionSA that deals with issues that she'll be driving. So it's a big pot. It's something that will keep her busy for the next 14 weeks that she'll be doing this. But most importantly, she will be working with us at the provincial level. I'm not working alone. I'm with members of the PEC, but in the provincial office, I'm working with the provincial secretary, the campaign manager, Advice Chuma, and Mongezi. So all of us will be able to ensure that she's deployed in areas where she's needed the most, where she can be able to add a lot of value. So I hope I've answered your question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, leadership. Still open for the second round again. Please do introduce yourself and the media house that you are representing.
We know you, Mr. Mashaba. We're not the government. We have a good mind. That is not let that take us. Have you discussed as a team, collective, to say that we don't have to wait for government to do services? We know they are not 100% services. But how wanted are communities? I think there's someone on the I just want to maybe share with us what has actually done so far outside government. Or which people can come and say, but actually it's not only what the ANC here, but all these political parties what their manifestos. People want actions. People want to see what the parties are doing. What is actually saying that so far? Sayang. You people don't know whether you understand what it is. People have been saying that you will have to see because you have the time, whatever you have and you didn't understand that this how that's not fair. Maybe you can explain whether was it because of that, but understand that contributions. It's actually say also dividing contribution. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. President.
Thank you, Pitso, and members of the media and fellow actioners and people of this country. I think, Pitso, the reason why I'm particularly in politics, when I accepted to join politics in late 2015, was out of real frustration of being an armchair critic at the time. You'd really go to board meetings or community events and golf and social events, and you'll always find experts. Experts will tell you how politicians are failing. And one thing for me, it's in my DNA. I've been taught and instilled in me a sense of taking personal responsibility. And I live in a democratic dispensation. It is for that reason I felt I was sick and tired I was heartful of just really being an expert, because my grandfather taught me one of the things to say, listen, my boy, but ultimately judge what people do. And that's something that lives within me. To say, you know, that's well and good, Herman, you can criticize, but ultimately, what do you do about this? That's the reason I'm in politics. Unfortunately, I entered politics with the wrong instrument. But fortunately enough, God always works in his own ways. That really gave birth to this great movement. That when I voted on the 27th of April 1994, voted for Nelson Mandela, voted for Thabo Mbeki in 1999, I thought we were going to see the unleashing of potential of majority of our people who were not given opportunities before. So today we have this vehicle. But the only thing that people, South Africans, must understand is that ActionSA, we operate from outside in most of the instances, but we're inside. The 3 years of my mayoralty of the city of Johannesburg, fortunate enough, I prepared my exit report that you don't have to really get it from me. I don't have to waste your time. If you're looking for the report of my achievement in the 3 years in the administration, despite the fact that I was facing opposition from the ANC mainly, including my own party. And here we are. Look at what we are doing in Tshwane. If we can talk about Lily Mine, it's a very sore matter for us as a party that we spend so much. I'm sure you're aware, a few weeks ago, we went to the head office of the National Prosecuting Authority because we wanted that container out. Remember, we were misled in 2016 that that container could not be retrieved. It had to really take us a massive legal expenses to prove that our government lied to South Africans, that that container could not be retrieved. And right now, it's actually quite unfortunate. What we're seeing in Madlanga Commission, even right now, the commission is on how our criminal justice system is captured. So that's one of the things that we've done. But look at what we're doing in Tshwane. I mean, when we took a tough decision in 2024, a lot of people did not understand why we had to remove Vuyisile Brink, because Vuyisile Brink was really destroying that capital city, reliant on misinformation. There were experts in misinformation. ActionSA and exposed the lies that were happening, and we've put in a very capable leader in the city of Tshwane. But then let's go to our National Assembly. After our performance, receiving 6 positions in the National Assembly, you know, the first few days I was devastated because we were expecting more. But then, few days after the announcement, we had reflection as a party. We said, you know what? We were at the time just 4.5-year-old party. Said we must be realistic. Let's send the best team. I know some of my colleagues didn't even agree with me when I said, let me not go to Parliament. Leave me to focus on growing this organization. Fortunate enough, I don't have to really be a liability to the party. I do this job on a voluntary basis. I don't get paid by the party. I get paid by my family. So look at now. When we send this team to Parliament, we are on record to say, colleagues, under Athol Trollip, we said, Athol, please go and box S6, S60, not S6, because we really read the environment to realize that there's a huge opportunity. There's a big gap in the opposition space because the DA and ANC now having almost just over 70% of parliament. We realized there's not going to be any opposition. Remember, a few days after the formation of the GNU, Helen Zille declared that they were going to protect the Phala Phala. Remember that? And these are issues that we are driving as ActionSA. You heard our national chairperson saying ActionSA drove the impeachment committee to appeal this particular matter, because honestly, I don't really believe that you don't have to really be a lawyer or a political scientist or a criminologist to see that our president broke the rules, the laws of this country, putting foreign currency in sofas and mattresses. Sofas and mattresses, sofas are for sitting, not to store money. Mattresses are for sleeping, not to store money. I mean, honestly, why our criminal justice system, we have to really go to the Constitutional Court on such a simple, open matter. The president doesn't really deny that there was money in the sofas. Foreign currency, that must come through the Reserve Bank. So these are things that us as ActionSA are playing. Our 3 members in the legislature, our caucus in the city of Johannesburg, where we tried after 2024, after the removal of Celia Brink, when ANC said, can you work with us in Johannesburg? And we, at the time, said, yes, we're happy to consider, but because we've got doubts with your leadership, because Tshwane, we insisted on taking over the executive role, the leadership of the city of Tshwane. We said, look, let's test you, give us the legislature, you take over the executive. A few months down the line, we started seeing cracks. We are on record as ActionSA on saying to the ANC, you know what? You guys gave us the wrong mayor. We've got to do something about this. We are happy to come into the executive to assist you. And they played delaying tactics because unfortunately the ANC don't see anything wrong with what Dada Murera is doing. That's why they don't see anything wrong with Phala Phala. There's nothing wrong with them creating for the 43% unemployment rate in the country. And I think for us as ActionSA, that's something that I'm sure you guys in the media, I don't know, you ignore this deliberately or whatever. You can answer this yourselves. Why us as ActionSA withdrew from co-governance with the ANC in Gauteng? Because they thought ActionSA is a voting cattle, political party. When they wanted to ask us to vote with them, people that are fired for corruption when I was the mayor, they want us to vote for them on those issues. And we said, no, under no circumstances. For us as ActionSA, corruption is public enemy number 1. Don't take us for granted. We will not vote. If you want to remove us, feel free to do so. And we'll walk away, and we'll walk away with honor. These are just really some of the practical things that sometimes as media or political scientists, you ignore to realize us as a political party, our principle and our navigation of issues around our government. Because we are not here to play. We've declared corruption is public enemy number 1. You can negotiate with us on other issues, but we cannot allow and normalize the corruption in our country. And for us now talking about Sedibeng and West Rand municipalities, I mean, Sedibeng, I always talk to my colleagues from Sebokeng and the Val to say, but guys, what on earth is happening here? Allowing ANC to be in government by not going to vote, because people of Sedibeng, they are aware of what's happening, but they don't go out and vote. The ANC is not in government there because of their popularity. It's because South Africans are using wrong approach in resolving our problems in this country. Give us an opportunity to be in government. We've really demonstrated. I think we're the only political party in this country, and will only be 6 years old on the 29th of August. We're the only party in this country that South Africans can rely on. It's got 3 mayors who've now have got practical example. Starting with Athol Tolip, his tenure as the executive mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay. Incredible performance. Also having problems with his own party and ultimately EFF removing him unfairly. And people of Nelson Mandela Bay are still suffering up to today. Then followed by me in the city of Johannesburg. I don't know, all of you were at a press conference when I announced my resignation about Helen Zille approaching the ANC for my removal. And at the time, remember very well, you've got it on record. She denied it flatly that I was talking nonsense. There was nothing like that. But 2 years later, in an interview with SABC, with Datim Beja, she was asked, Helen, don't you think as the DA you're sitting with a major problem? It looks like you're losing senior members. And said, Musi left for this, and so left for this. When it came to Herman Mashaba, because of the problem is that when you lie, you've got a problem because you've got to keep remembering. Like how it has caught up with Advocate Johnson in the Madlanga Commission. What did Helen Zille say? She had forgotten. She said, no, Herman Mashaba left because he was an EFF mayor. She said to you, to SABC, that Herman left because there was going to be a motion of no confidence against him, brought by the ANC, supported by the majority in the DA. And every interview ever since I've had with members of the media to say, but while Helen is busy swimming in potholes, she lied to you. Is that the kind of person you want to come back to Joburg? Someone who relies campaign and politics on misinformation and blatant lies. Liar. In fact, I take it to be a habitual liar. But you guys, the media, you're happy to go and cover her. I see every time she goes out to swim in potholes, she's got the entire media behind her. But I don't know, are you guys afraid? Maybe... why are you afraid to ask her why she lied? Why should people of Johannesburg actually trust her that she's not a liar? And a few weeks ago, the Constitutional Court and the Public Protector, what did they say about what's happening in the Western Cape? Cape Town in particular. When all the time, you've always given this aura of being the best mayor ever. And I've always said, after my removal, I said, these are some of the issues. When I joined the DA, started questioning about what was happening in the Cape Flats, what was happening in Khayelitsha, Gugulethu. Because those are the areas in the 80s I made a lot of money from, going around paying people and selling them shampoos. And I look at those very same communities, how she has failed them. So I think, for us, Pitso, the only time we can bring meaningful change to the lives of South Africans, and we committed to that project, and we are going to do it. There's a reason why Michael said we are not going to contest all municipalities. We'll only contest whatever number that, obviously, as the national chair, he's got more up-to-date information than I do. The only time people of South Africa must expect serious, obvious change in their lives is to give ActionSA an opportunity to be in government. On our own, or with Bentley, we embrace coalition in the event our people put us in any coalition. But we are saying to South Africans, give us the numbers so that we can actually lead government. Because when we lead government, you see real change, and you see real change for everyone. For leaving us outside, yes, we can still play a role like we're playing in parliament, in the legislatures where we are, even from outside. So, but people of Sedibeng, people of Western, people of Johannesburg, Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, and Greater Tzaneen, and Taung, if they want real change, let them really give us the mandate to lead this government, because we're a political party that is more than committed. We're not committed. We're more than committed to saving the people of this country. Let me just respond on behalf of Ayanda regarding, she does not have to stand up and defend herself. Ayanda is not subjected to pay the party anything, because the only time obviously we expect tithing from those who are already in the public service. So Ayanda is not going to be in any of those structures. She's going to be working for the party. And when you work for the party does not expect any tithing from you. So fortunate enough, Ayanda, you don't have to deal with that nonsense. For the next few months, we will decide after the elections whether we're going to deploy her in strategic municipalities or whatever. We don't know. That is something that I think we've had honest, robust discussions with her. Right now, she's going to be working for the party, working with the Funzi and the Gauteng PEC. So I'm sure I've really saved you. So no tithing expected from her. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I believe there's also a follow-up question from the SABC. But before we go to the SABC, I would like again to invite Ms. Ayanda, because there's also a response that she would like to make as well to what you've just alluded, Mr. President.
I thought I was saving him. Because we're not a party that lies. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
remember.
Thank you so much, and thank you, President. I see you're protecting me already, which is reinforcing what I said earlier, that one feels safe in this organization. I think I alluded to this a little bit earlier to say I wouldn't want to mar this glorious occasion by rehashing some of the circumstances that brought us to this place. But I do think that I want to say, just out of respect for the Fourth Estate, it's important that I respond to the question as briefly as possible. The party levy was a manifestation of a much deeper issue. Nobody leaves a political home over 10%. And nobody fires their sole representative at the legislature who did the best that they could and who, I'd like to say, without sounding arrogant, succeeded to a great degree. Nobody lets them go over 10%. I am of the view that it was a manifestation of a much deeper issue, that it was the fruit, but it was not necessarily the root cause. I think it also is important, as my president has just mentioned now, to underscore the fact that one is aware that every single party will have a party levy. It will depend on the amount and the percentage, but that's something that's important to put on record. Every public representative has got a responsibility to the political party. You have to have skin in the game. You have to understand that you exist as part of a collective. You are part of an ecosystem. You don't exist as an island. Therefore, it is important for you to contribute. If the time comes, as the party will decide, for me to be deployed anywhere, I too will have to pay. Right now, President mentioned that I'm safe. I'm working for the party. But if the call is made for me to occupy any public office on behalf of ActionSA, I will have to adhere to the terms and conditions, and I would have to pay the party levy just like any other member does already and is expected to do. And I will be happy to do so because I have a responsibility to the party. But I also think it is important that we also are mindful that even the party has a responsibility towards the public rep. What is that responsibility? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, it is to support the work of fulfilling your constitutional mandate. We have seen it exercised beautifully here in ActionSA in the way in which the likes of Dr. Nasipi are well supported, the way in which your Darylene James are well supported. That support means when we are crying and we're saying there's a community in such and such a place and they need our assistance because perhaps they've been shack fires or perhaps there is water damage or the like, then the party is able to come together and say, let us assist that community. That is the only responsibility that the party has. I view this as a symbiotic relationship, a responsibility from the public rep to pay her dues, but there's responsibility from the party to support the public rep in fulfilling their constitutional mandate. And when those two work hand in hand, it is a beautiful thing. And we have seen it here in ActionSA. But where the party, for example, is playing their part and the public rep doesn't want to, it becomes unequal. And vice versa, where the public rep is playing their part and the party is songe izandla, it also becomes a problem. So for it to be mutually beneficial and for it to result in service delivery, both need to be playing their part. And I think maybe in another time, in another season, in another occasion, we can discuss the merits of whether both in the previous case, as you have mentioned, were playing their part. But I think what is then future focused and what we need to look at is that we're here now. However God brought us here, we are here now. The future is bright and the future is green. And therefore, I want to focus on the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The future is bright and the future is green, and therefore she wants to focus on the future, which is green. I don't know whether the SABC still wants to. Yes. Okay, no problem. Colleagues, thank you so much for spending the rest of the morning with us. I really appreciate this opportunity, and that concludes the briefing for today. And also to the President, the National Chairperson, the Provincial Leadership, and also our three beautiful mayoral candidates for Sedibeng, Mogale City, as well as Rand West. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to this weekend as we are urging our residents to actually go and register to vote. Because if we don't register, that means we won't be able to cast our votes on the 4th of November this year. Thank you so much. And that concludes our media briefing for today.